What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more of The Cure, and we are back to complete the 1989 album Disintegration. Thank you once again to Phil for providing these deluxe editions. Thank you to Sophia, who mentioned a while back that The Cure were a band worthy of deep diving on, and thank you to all the folks who've been commenting and providing insights as we've gone through this catalog. But yes, ultimately the final track on Disintegration is Untitled. So I think when I label this, I'm going to put Untitled brackets from Disintegration, if only because I don't know if there might be other Untitled tracks. But yeah, it's interesting, like, in the world of techno, there are actually a fair number of releases where, you know, it'll be 3 tunes and it'll be like a name for the EP, but the individual tracks aren't listed, which was still annoying as a DJ back in the day. But yes, that's not entirely uncommon. In the world of like pop music and rock music, I feel like it's more common, or it's number one, less common, but when it does happen, it's typically in relation to like bonus tracks or secret tracks where, you know, the final regular track of the album plays, then there's like a stretch of silence, and then suddenly some music starts up and there's an additional tune. Often like, you know, not necessarily a full song or a like fully serious song. So yeah, when I saw this, my initial thought is that it might be something like that. But again, on the Discogs page for the album, you can see track times, and this one's like over 3 minutes. I don't think it's quite 4, it's like 3.5 or something. So in that regard, it sounds more like it will be an actual full song. I do wonder, of course, why it didn't get a title. And yes, like in that regard, is this something that was, you know, developed and built but not fully completed, so to speak, and yet was still included? Was it something that, you know, it's by design, the idea of, you know, there's no word or there's no phrase that can characterize this or that fully encapsulates this, and so it was left untitled, you know, as a statement about the themes and or the music. So I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. Let's hear it. This is The Cure, the final track of the 1989 album Disintegration, and it's Untitled.
Said what I wanted to say to you. Never quite managed the words to explain to you. Never quite knew
I like the bookended opening and closing, and it's a very atmospheric tune to finish the album with. And I think, it is like a full song. But yeah, okay, so the sort of rich and like sonically a bit intense opening and closing, it sounds kind of like a harmonica, an accordion. I don't know if it's like actually an accordion. My guess is it would be like a normal keyboard kit that just kind of has that sound. But yeah, definitely, it was almost like it was adjacent to the more, let's say, typical cycling, a bit like moody Cure rhythm of the like main part of the tune. Indeed, by the end, like that was kind of fading and going under, but the accordion style bit was, sort of fully loud right to the end. So yeah, okay, again, a pretty long intro, not the longest we've heard by any stretch, but definitely it was a little bit till Robert comes in. And I was thinking, like, Untitled maybe more than just a, like, well, we didn't, have the perfect name for it, or it was kind of throw onto the album. In that, like, he's describing, like, he can't quite articulate what he wants to say. He can't, like, put it together in words, and he can't make it convincing to this person who I'm just seeing as a woman. And then it's also like this time, it's not going to really exist anymore, and it couldn't quite be maybe what it was supposed to be, or at least what it was. And so it's like everything is like not defined in a way that is perfect, or a way that may have been the goal. And so like everything is kind of shapeless or amorphous, or transient or fleeting or ephemeral. And so in that regard, it's like it can't be pinned down, it couldn't be articulated exactly as it was supposed to be in the moment. And so in that regard, it feels like Untitled might be, because like it never fully came into being, it could never be exactly what it was supposed to be. Now, that also being said, the lines, like, I couldn't quite find the right words and so on, it feels like that's a continuation of the theme of Pictures of You, where he, like, I just could, if I could only just come up with the right words in the moment, maybe things would have turned out differently. Maybe, I wouldn't be just looking at this picture of you, which, like, it almost doesn't feel real. And, like, it seems like there's a bit of that sentiment, and even, the lines themselves that are carried over into this tune, which, again, in a way, feels like a nice bookending to the album overall. But yeah, again, like in terms of the mood, it kind of had that, like, it's not fully heavy and sad, but it's certainly not like energetic in a like bright and happy way. It's just kind of this moody, cyclical, and weighty type of tune, which I think they do so very well. Now, again, they do a few different styles of tracks really, really well, including, kind of lighter, quirky numbers, and then heavy, dark, cycling tunes of a, like, more, like, dark nature. And then, again, they do these kind of moody, brooding, like, what's the right phrase? Like atmospheric type of tunes really well. So yeah, this definitely is like one of their main lanes, and I think this fits very well as the album closer. So yeah, again, I still do wonder about the nature of this tune, and whether it is kind of what I was thinking, that Untitled was like a deliberate choice, or if it's one that originally wasn't going to be on the album, but then they kind of put on there as a coda to the album, a bit of a like in-album bonus track. But yeah, I enjoy the themes such as I caught them. I think Robert's voice, as always with these kind of tracks, he conveys this emotion of, reflection, a bit of sadness, but also there's like kind of a philosophical outlook. So yeah, his vocals very much fit the circumstance of the tune as it caught my ears and brain. Once again, thank you to all the folks who've been following this Cure journey. I think I'll probably just go on to the next album, and at some point, once we finish going through the studio albums, which, because we've been doing these weekly, the Cure Thursdays, I feel like it's not terribly far away in the future. Still a lot to go, I get it. But yes, once we do that, we can then jump back and start going through all of the bonus tunes and, demos and so on that we've skipped over, after we initially did go through some of the demos at the very early part of this deep dive. So I'm looking forward to all of it. Let me know what you think of this one. And Luca and I will see you next time. Yeah, what's up? She's busy. We will see you next time. Peace.